agenda is today coming to you live from Horse Cars Village. And the reason why we are here at the parking lot is because we are talking about diesel cars. The Supreme Court has come out with an interim order. The final order is due tomorrow, where they say that all diesel cars, vehicles beyond 2000 cc in the NCR will be banned for registration. Not just that, they're also banning the entry of trucks which are older than 2005 and doubling the green tax. So we have all the lawyers over here who are involved with the case. Pinaki Mishra, who is representing the case of the diesel car makers. We also have Santosh Pal, his advocate for the petitioners who brought the whole diesel petition in. We have Balendu Shekhar, his counsel for the East Delhi Corporation, and putting the environment perspective over here, Palash Mukherjee of the Center for Science and Environment, and Saurabh Bhardwaj is also joining us, giving us the Delhi government's perspective. Pinaki Mishra, I just want to start with you. The court has said very clearly that they have agreed to this 3-month ban. How are you countering that, and what are your clients saying?
Look, we've gone to the NGT, the National Green Tribunal, with a very limited prayer that we are sitting on massive stocks at the moment of 2015 manufacture. So without notice, if you shut us down, the thousands of crores at stake, we don't get, the dealers don't get cars on commission basis. They have to pick up the cars with full payment to these manufacturers. There are bank loans involved, there are all sorts of financial complications. So if you wish to put a ban, either do a phased ban or give us a little time. That was a short, very limited prayer. That was the National Green Tribunal. In the meanwhile, the matter was also being agitated in the Supreme Court. And as you've heard, the Supreme Court has somewhat modified the earlier order of the National Green Tribunal, by which the NGT had banned all registration. They've said now ban registration only for cars above 2000 cc. So that's the limited order. They've said that they'll pass the order tomorrow. So the interim order should come tomorrow. It's for a limited period of 3 months. Let's see how it works.
So that's the automaker's perspective. But what's interesting is what Palash Mukherjee, the figure that he just gave us, just to show how much people are affected, that it has now grown. The new 50%, almost 45% of the new registrations are all from cars. And I just want to ask you about the health impact of that 3-1. But just before that, you've been saying, he just pointed out that there should be a phased kind of ban. But this case has been happening for the last 30 years?
Yeah, MC Mehta initiated it 30 years back. We came in 2013. And by the time we came in, we were probably the most polluted city in the world in 2013 itself. And see, as far as the emission norms are concerned, as per WHO standards, it is 20 RSPM, that is respirable suspended particulate matter. We are here today at 500. Probably we are sitting here and breathing in 500 RSPM. And some of our interjections, it must be 700. So in my opinion, there is no option left, because in 2002, when the RSPM levels touched 182, Supreme Court intervened and banned diesel from public transportation.
Brought in CNG.
Brought in CNG. The entire air quality improved. But the whole thing has not only been offset, but it has deteriorated to such an extent that now we are faced with 500 average. Thanks to what I call as dieselization of our passenger fleet.
And the car makers also realize that, Pinaki.
Well, look, car makers basically manufacture what is in demand. And, he's absolutely right that in India we have this unfortunate feeling that buying diesel cars is more economical. And that's because there is a vast difference between the price of petrol and diesel. This is government policy. Government should have woken up to this much, much before today, until things come to this sorry pass. There should actually be, according to me, a countervailing sin tax on diesel to make sure that there is a disincentive against buying diesel cars.
I just wanted to just take a little bit of a poll in our audience. How many people have diesel cars right now? And how, when you hear about this ban, is there are you panicking?
Ma'am, it's unjustified because there was no earlier notice given. And if they just suddenly bring in a ban like no diesel cars, so that is not justified. Moreover, what happens is the diesel car manufacturers, they give special functions to the cars and not give to the petrol cars. What happens is the new I-20 diesel that is there, it has a 6th gear that is not there in the petrol variant. So how is that justified?
Okay, but you understand that when people say there are breathing problems and all of that. You understand, even though you're a diesel car owner.
Yeah, because like the money that's on the stake is not more important than people's lives. There are many diseases like bronchitis happening in Delhi all around, and life is obviously more important than any money you are investing or something.
So I wanted to ask you, do you think after these 3 months will we see a qualitative improvement? Because I'm not sure, even though one of the figures points out that about 30% of the vehicles right now, and it would, like going by that 30%, the air would become better. Will we see that improvement?
I think we'll definitely be seeing some levels of improvement. It's hard to quantify at this stage, but then, like I told you, the number of new diesel cars being registered are going up as a percentage of the total. And we know that under the current norms that are in effect in Delhi, that are the Euro 4, the BS4 norms, diesel as a fuel, a diesel engine emits 3 times the NOx and 5 to 7 times the PM levels compared to the corresponding
nitrogen dioxide and the pollutant level.
particulate matter.
Yeah, okay. So we should see that going. So Saurabh Bhatwar, the thing which all of us want to know is, can the government, how tough is it going to be for you as a government body to implement this order?
Like I usually say in other programs also, look, all the tough measures for the environment and against the pollution have been always forced by the Honorable Supreme Court, whether it was the MC Mehta judgment in the case of Mathura oil refineries, or it was a judgment against Agra leather tanneries, or it was in 1992 when Supreme Court ordered Delhi government to implement CNG in all public transports. Because usually, the popular governments which are democratically elected don't want to do anything which is unpopular or anything which annoys even a small section of people. So usually governments are afraid. However, I'm happy that now due to the effort of people like you who have been constantly doing programs on environment, and a lot of my friends who are sitting in your studio, who have been contesting such cases in the Supreme Court and the High Court and the NGT, and from the courts and even from our political opponents, now there is a lot of talk about environment. And as a Delhi government, we have always tried to support the court, and even in the Supreme Court, when it was about the diesel vehicles, phasing out the diesel vehicles, we had supported the court's intentions, and we have said that whatever you want to do for the environment, the government will abide with it. The government will, cooperate.
Okay, Saurabh, I just want to bring in Balinder Shekhar over here, because just to make it clear to our viewers, this is happening at 2 levels. We have the green panel, which also was the first one to stop the entry of the and introduce the green tax. And then it's also happening in the Supreme Court. Today, the green panel said, let's just see what the Supreme Court says, and then we'll see. So you're part of the, you've been appearing in front of the green panel. Do you think it's going to be easy? Because we saw kind of patchy implementation of the green tax.
First and foremost, I must say in front of everyone, that nowadays the issue of pollution has become a talk point everywhere. So NGT is seized with the matter. Honorable High Court is also dealing with this case. Honorable Supreme Court has become serious, and at the same time, all government authorities have started their best, whatever they can contribute to the system, so that environmental quality can be improved. Number one. Number two, right now, as we have already discussed much about the diesel aspect, but NGT as well as in High Court, all other sources of pollution are also being discussed, and several directions have been issued to various authorities that how you are supposed to check that pollution level. And I am sure that something will come, and of course that thing will certainly be beneficial for every.
Okay, Pinaki Mishra, I just wanted to ask you, you were bringing up before how the problem is that even if you ban this, the problem is the type of diesel that we are using, that we are just not getting with the because internationally a lot of the transport companies are still using diesel, but they don't seem to have our problem.
2 aspects here, Sunitra. Euro 4, which is the equivalent of BS4. Euro 4 was phased out in Europe about 5 years back, Europe and the States, etc. We brought in BS4 about 5 to 7 years back. We are still stuck at BS4. Europe has moved, and America has moved to Euro 6 standards.
Yeah.
Our targets are abysmal. We're supposed to be a nuclear power. We're supposed to want to sit on the nuclear high table. We want a place in the United Nations Security Council, so on and so forth. And we are saying that we'll move to Euro 5 by 2019, and earlier target for Euro 6 was 2023, which has now been scaled after Paris.
Do you see Supreme Court changing that?
This is a matter of government. It's just sheer will. All you need is the will, because the car manufacturers are willing to put in thousands of crores to raise the capacity of their engines.
Do you see them changing that, changing the targets?
See, the emission standard norms are a scandal in this country, because we are, technically speaking, really speaking, we are roughly between Euro 3 and Euro 4. Japan, Western Europe and United States are in Euro 6.
Okay.
And not only that, they have moved one step ahead, what is called the platinum filters, which is being used for diesel. Because despite Euro 6, even in London, the mayor of London has come on record, the Supreme Court of United Kingdom also came on record, and they have said that diesel is the dirtiest fuel, and it requires a lot of technology and a lot of input to keep it under check. So we are at a level at Euro 3 and Euro 4, which is why we are faced with this problem.
Since you're the only government representative over here, is there something that you are all considering and to can you impose these international norms now?
Though Delhi government has said it in a 12-point agenda that we will advance the Euro 6 norms, which was supposed to be done in 2019, we wanted to advance it to 2017. But I had a few friends from the central government who were on panel at that time. They were saying, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but they were saying that there are a lot of technical things, that refineries need to be transformed and a lot of things need to be done. It cannot be done so easily. So I don't know, but yes, our government is committed, but we are just a very small state government. We cannot, enforce these Euro norms across the country. Basically, it's about the central government.
True, but I think,
He's right. It's the central government, because these gigantic petroleum companies which are sitting on tens of thousands of crores of assets and reserves. It's a complete state monopoly, as you know. There are these three big state-owned giants. They are the ones who should be investing more in R&D, in research and development. Instead, they are sitting on 80,000 crores, 1 lakh crore worth of cash reserves and investing them in banks and making fat profits. That's it.
Okay, so we'll see if the central government lawyers or anyone can say anything about that. Also, after the break on agenda, we'll hear from people who are physically suffering because of diesel emissions. What do they think of this order? Coming up in just a bit. Stay with us.